Welcome, Mr. Dean Elliott, to Parts Talk. And
Thank you, Chris.
I'm sure you have a lot of stories to tell us tonight and to share your experiences. How did you start out being a part of the dealership environment, right? And I'm not going to babble a lot. I'm just going to kick it off and get right into it. So, Dean, please introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself and how did you become a part of the dealership family?
Okay, well, my name is Dean Elliott, and back in 2008, I was told by an acquaintance about a dealership that was looking for someone, a facilities manager, to assist them in improving their dealership.
Right.
At first, I didn't really take him seriously, and I said yes, I'll send off my resume. He gave me all the details, and I didn't send it off.
Okay.
And he called me, I think a week after I said I'd send it off. I says, "Listen, man, the people asking me about you. Why you don't send you haven't sent your resume yet?" I actually sent it. I would say that it was the day after I sent it, I got the call and got invited to an interview.
Okay.
At that interview with the managing director and the HR manager, I was told about their vision for the dealership and what assistance they needed.
Okay.
Of course, the usual questions about my qualifications and experience.
Okay. But I wanted to go a little bit into that part. What were your qualifications and experience at the time before they decided that you were the right person?
Okay, well, I'm a mechanical engineer, but for the up until that point, having returned back to Jamaica after working in the oil field for 10 years
Okay.
in the Middle East.
In the Middle East.
I basically got involved in facilities engineering and management.
Okay.
So commercial buildings and the systems, the air conditioning systems, and all different systems involved in commercial properties.
Yes.
I was familiar with.
Mm-hmm.
Refurbishing, construction, all of that is where my expertise lie.
Okay.
So I was the kind of person that they were looking for to assist them.
Okay. Yes, with that wealth of experience, especially on the international markets and being around, well, mostly based on an expatriate type of work scenario. So the wealth of experience, I'm sure they wanted someone like you.
Yeah. My first impression of the dealership, the physical machine, wasn't a very positive one. It was rather rundown, and it just didn't look the part.
Okay.
They told me that since acquiring it, they had come a long way, and they wanted to go further. So I could only imagine what it looked like before.
You're talking about the overall appearance of the dealership itself.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. So they've done a lot up to the point that I joined, and that, like I said, they told me that it had come a long way since they took it over.
Okay.
So basically, I was tasked with trying to bring it into modern times, and by that I mean the company or the brand had certain expectations in terms of how the dealership should look and function.
Right.
And it was difficult in that you're trying to adapt something old and to what they want in terms of flow and look.
Okay.
So it wasn't an easy task. I mean, You know, if you
Right.
had,
You're talking about
if you had a blank
old.
sheet, yeah, if you
You're
had a
talking about
blank
an
sheet,
old building, old
yeah,
facilities, old look. It would have
yeah,
probably easier to just knock everything down and and rebuild from scratch.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Uh, um, actually had a couple of visits to dealerships in South Florida to see what they look like and what they, you know, how they're set up
Yeah.
to give us some ideas.
Right.
And we did bring back some ideas, which we tried to implement. We had to modify them to actually get them to work at this
Mhm.
dealership.
Right.
Mm. Um, the flow of the the workshop, the traffic going through the workshop to the different stations and so forth. Workshop, car wash, body shop. That flow of, you know, a car coming in to be serviced. I mean,
Mhm.
even that was difficult because the space was ample, but where the actual driveway and access was,
Yeah. Wasn't adequate enough.
wasn't
Okay.
ideal.
Yeah, because the at the time the dealership was growing, but the space to accommodate the growth was not there.
Right, right, right. So it was a challenge. Um, as you know, I spent almost 3 years there
Okay.
and left. I don't know what improvements they've made at that location.
At that time. But
Yeah,
what I want to do is to go
since
into
then.
details about some of the well, at first I want you to go into details into some of the improvements that you made, right? Just to highlight them if you can recall.
Yes, pretty much one of the first tasks was to create some offices off of the showroom floor.
Okay.
And if you remember at the time, we took some of your space because you were there, and we encroached on some of your space.
Oh yes, yes,
And
the warehouse,
I
yeah, the
think
warehouse, yeah, the wall was knocked back,
yes,
yeah.
yes. If I remember correctly, you were already challenged with space, so
We
you
all
weren't
were. We were
hesitating.
trying to, do the
Yeah.
best we could with the
Uh-huh.
limited resources. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. So we did that. We took that space. Um, we at the same time, or we were finishing off the canteen. We built a new
Yes.
canteen.
I remember the canteen. The canteen,
Yeah.
yeah, a brand new canteen was built for the staff and also
Mhm.
for the customers who would like to come in and have something to eat while they wait. Yes.
Yeah. And we did basically slowly but surely refurbish each department. But in the parts department, we did
Yeah. Yeah,
some work.
we modernized the flow of the parts department where the offices were concerned, the front counter, the rear counter, everything. Yes, yes,
Mhm.
quite a number of work was done. A
Yeah,
complete overall of the layout, everything was done, and this was partly in due to your leadership at the time.
uh-huh.
Yeah,
And the one that I liked the most was that automated car wash. I don't know if anybody else in Jamaica has one to
I
this day.
remember. Yeah, we were both of us were deeply involved in importing that car wash and had it
Mhm,
installed. Yeah, I
mhm,
remember. Yeah.
mhm. Actually, I'll never forget. It was during the Tivoli incursion
Hmm.
that the guys from the States were due to arrive, and they called me and they said, "We hear there's something going on down there in Kingston. Is it safe to come?"
Yeah, yeah.
We had to,
The famous
you know,
Tivoli incursion. Yeah,
yeah, we had to be honest and say to them, "Listen, just stay where you are until
give you the
we
go ahead to
contact
come. Yeah,
them." Yeah.
but apart from those achievements, which a lot of people are still benefiting from, What were some of the challenges you had when you were trying to get some of these improvements going?
The physical plant to adapt that to the template.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that was the challenge.
Yeah.
You know, space. For instance, if you remember correctly, take for instance the workshop. Between each lift, there was supposed to be a specific gap.
Yeah.
And to work that out and get the number of lifts that was required and the space to actually access those lifts.
Yeah.
That was a big challenge. If you remember the parts department, there was also a template for that they had, and we had to try and adapt as best we could to get that to work.
Yes, because we were going through the whole modernization based on the manufacturer specifications as to what the warehouse layout should be. Well, the entire facilities as the flow from sales, service, parts, and everything. So the layout has to be a specific standard based on the international requirements that were needed. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was really a challenge, and thankfully, someone like yourself came along, and you got the job done. But not without the challenges, of course. That is why we're here for persons to understand exactly what work was put in at the time when you actually came there.
I mean, I had the full backing of management to get this done. Any challenges that we faced was, like I said, due to what we were trying to implement in the given space.
Right.
Materials was a challenge finding some of the materials in Jamaica to meet the specification that was laid out.
Yeah.
Thankfully, we were able to overcome that. We didn't have to import anything special. Except for signage. Signage was the only thing that we imported.
Oh yes, I remember the signage. Yeah, because we had to put up some large signs at the front.
Yeah,
and they had to be at a specific standard in terms of the width, the diameter, the length, everything.
I remember
we could get them locally. Yeah.
No, on the signage there was a big manual with all the specifications and requirements.
Yeah. Yes.
I haven't forgotten that, you know, and it's over 10 years since I was there.
Yes. Anything that was challenging at the time, and then you overcame that obstacle, and to actually see that part of the requirement that was needed from you at the time go up, then it would have been seen as a big accomplishment. So that itself would stand out. Yeah.
The other challenge that we had down there, and it's probably unique to Jamaica, was security.
Well, I can't. Well, it's debatable. It's debatable.
Maybe unique to that part of Kingston.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
I'm sure you remember some of the incidents that took place down there. The two attempts the two breakings of the bond store.
Yeah. Oh yes. All the glasses and the radios and batteries. So many things were missing. Were stolen from the cars. Yeah.
I remember writing the security SOP. And it was actually read by the reps that used to come down, and they didn't quite have a grasp. Well, I know one of the things that was strange to the company was our cost for security.
Yes.
Yeah, I think anywhere else in most other countries, you probably have somebody at the entrance, if that, a security guard at the entrance.
And that's
uh,
about it. Yeah.
and that's about it. But we had, don't quote me on this, but I think we used to have like 12 per shift, and night shift wasn't much less than day shift.
Than day shift. Yeah, but I
Night
mean,
shift was probably eight.
don't you can't reveal too much, you know, because individuals may think we live in a very hostile environment. But I mean, that was the nature. That was the nature at the time. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, that was good.
Yeah. But apart from most of those accomplishments now, based on your experiences working with that dealerships, when you go to other dealerships, did you at any point in time see some of the exact template that you had instituted at the dealership you were?
Um, I see what I saw abroad on my visits to dealerships in South Florida.
Okay, okay.
So I couldn't say that they copied.
They copied you.
Uh,
But what about dealership? What about other dealerships in Jamaica? Did you see any similarities?
yes, vaguely, yeah. One dealership that I do visit the parts department of from time to time, yes, I can see similarities there.
Right.
And the similarities started off pretty strongly, but in recent times, they seem to have fallen off.
Oh, okay, okay, okay.
Uh,
Okay. Another question, I like to keep this flowing as much as possible. Now, you spoke about the challenges and then some of the strategies that you implemented and they actually worked. And like as I said again, a lot of the things that you did, people are benefiting from it up to today. But what would be your recommendations now in terms of like when you left it? Have you ever gone back there to see if things are?
no, I've never been back.
You have never been back. Okay, okay. But while you were there, what other solutions? If given the chance, what other strategies would you have put in place if you were still at the helm?
I understand that they did do some of the things that I discussed with them, not necessarily my ideas, but there was a lot of space there and a lot of junk areas, so to speak.
Right.
And I do understand that they did tidy up some of that, started utilizing some of that space better.
Okay.
I if I was still there, maybe one of my next tasks would have been energy conservation. I don't
Yes.
know, I suppose that they probably, in this day and age, probably have visited that and are doing what they can in that department. Yeah, that's the kind of things. It was like after that, it would have been like some of it would have been like fine tuning.
Yeah.
Uh,
But what would you have done differently if you were still there? I mean, during your time, I know that you went about doing certain things based on the requirements that were needed at the time. But what would you have done differently if given the chance?
well, some of it has been done already, and I wouldn't say I'd have done a lot differently. I probably would have accomplished more because not long after I joined, the other thing that happened was the recession.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
The 2008 recession. Yeah.
There were plans to build out other dealerships, other locations throughout the island,
Right.
and that in part was one of the things that lured me to them. Those projects would have been really exciting, but that recession set in and didn't happen in my time. That is probably why I left. No fault of the company, just that I am a technical person,
Right.
and I was getting bored.
Right. Yeah, you needed to be you needed projects on a timely basis to keep moving.
Yeah, unfortunately, not long after I left, I think the recession started easing, and then they revisited all those plans and
Okay. Yeah.
eventually implemented them all.
Yeah. Some of those plans have been put in place because they now have sub dealers all over the island, and they have
Mhm.
different branches now. So maybe your template was actually put to good use.
Well, as you know, with that brand, the templates come from way up. You do get an input
Hmm.
in it, but you can't say you're the originator of the ideas.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. But I mean, some credit has to be given to the person who got the job done,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah.
So that's one of the purpose of this program, so we can honor
Mhm.
those who made a vast
Mhm.
contribution to the sector
Mhm.
itself, and we go unrewarded at times. But
Right.
that's another story, right?
Yeah.
That's definitely another story.
Mhm.
But like I said, from myself, I just want to say thank you because what you did, and I was there to witness it, was
Mhm.
a revolution in the way how the dealership is basically operating now, and the facilities that are being enjoyed by the many individuals that are there, both internal and external. So
Yeah.
like I said, kudos to you. It was very commendable.
Okay.
And it was a pleasure working with you at the time because myself and you, we were project oriented.
Yeah.
We wanted to get stuff done, right? And we
Mhm.
got the job done in the required time that was needed. But as you know, life happens, and we
Mhm.
started to pull into different directions.
Yeah.
And we saw the outcome now, and then we just move on. That's how it is, right?
Yeah.
It is
Yeah.
what it is. But
But
in sorry, go
not
ahead.
not being in that industry anymore. I do miss certain things about it. I mean, the competition between brands. Keeping track of the numbers.
Okay.
That
Yes.
was. You
Yeah.
remember the morning meetings, and you hear what the what the numbers for the month were like. That was pretty exciting stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Yes. I know. And looking at the market share and all that. And
Yeah, the
yeah.
market share.
So you learned a couple of jargons there.
Yeah, man. Yeah, yeah. I mean, like when somebody that I know is buying a new car and all that, and they think that the dealership is making 25-30% on the vehicle. I said, no, it's more like just over between 10 and 15%, not no 25-30%.
Right, right. And that 10 and 15% is just straight recoverables. That's all it
Yeah.
is. It's just to
Mhm.
recoup the administrative costs. That is
Mhm.
all. Because the
Yeah.
margins on cars like probably between 5 and 8%. Well,
Mhm.
I stand corrected these days because the numbers have been shrinking. So I don't know.
Mhm.
Right? You have to do like volumes to actually get something from a car. But
Yeah.
the persons on the outside looking in, they always
Yeah.
have, a perception of what goes on.
Yeah, and when they visit the workshop for a service, and they said, "Oh, being ripped off, and they're making so much money off of me," and I said, "No, the workshop struggles. People just don't realize how tough it is all around.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah,
they think that it's a gold mine to have a dealership.
yes, yes, yes. But I'm glad that is why you're here, because even though you worked in a different capacity, and that's
Mhm.
that's another reason to have individuals like yourself who worked in different areas within the dealership to tell it from your side, right?
Mhm.
Because whatever you do impacts the overall performance of the dealership itself, right?
Mhm.
And from a facility standpoint, you had to make it convenient to have a flow for the customer to come in and have a good
Yeah,
experience when they're either buying a car or getting their car service or coming to purchase parts. That's basically what it
yeah,
is.
yeah. And I mean, being in facilities as well, you get to visit all the departments, and you build relationships, so you understand what's happening
Yeah.
in each department.
Yeah. Yeah. And the funniest thing though, because in North America here, I don't recall seeing someone like you holding a position like that. Most of those positions are basically outsourced. That's what it is. Yeah. But in order to get certain projects done, you needed someone on the floor at all times to monitor, manage, and to see to it that the work is being done. Based on what you saw, if you have anything else you'd like to, comment on your experiences working with the dealership, feel free to in
Yeah.
your closing
Well,
remarks.
all I can say basically is that I enjoyed the experience for what
Yeah.
it's worth, you
Uh-huh.
know. And if it wasn't for the recession and the projects that were supposed to happen in my time were happening, maybe I'd still be there today. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Because
It was,
it's a very fast-paced industry,
mhm,
right?
mhm.
And the thing about with working in a dealership, you have an eye for something, especially if you're trained in a particular brand or a particular manufacturer, the way how they do things,
Yeah.
right? Is the continuous improvement process at all times. You're looking to innovate, you're looking to challenge, you're looking to, work with a certain type of enthusiasm, if I can use that word, right? So that
Yeah.
it instills in you how best you go about getting the job done. But as you know, different personalities and how people look at life, how to look at certain things, it will actually be a challenge working with so many different attributes from individuals, and
Uh-huh.
yeah,
Yeah.
and
Well,
that's not the point.
I've always been a person that can, adapt and get along with people of different personalities because, I'm not a forceful person or anything. I will try to see your point of view, and if I need to change your opinion on something, if I don't agree with you, I'll gently do it. I won't forcefully bend someone
Mm-hmm.
to my point of view.
Yeah, yeah.
And even if it takes a while, I won't get stubborn. I'm not the sort of person that gets stubborn and arrogant and all of that. That
Okay.
that that that, that is me. I don't know if that is a good thing
Well,
or
I
a bad.
mean, every individual is different,
Yeah.
and it has to do go at the end of the day. It's all about their interpersonal skills. So if you're a
Mhm.
people person, you're a people person. If you're not, you're
Mhm.
introverted. That's just it. That's your
Yeah.
style. So
Yeah.
you can't force someone who is an introvert to basically try to get
Yeah.
out of their shell. You have to work with the advantages that they have, and you build on that skill.
Yeah.
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 All right. So Dean, I want to thank you. I know tonight's program is a little bit shorter than the usual one, but what you have said and told us tonight is another eye-opening factor based on the work that you did and the contribution you have made. So I want to thank you again for joining,
Thank
and
you for having me.
hopefully if you have any other stories you want to share, well, I would say stories, experiences. If you have any other experiences that come to the top of your head you want to share with
Well,
us.
like the time on the excursion when the car floated.
The car floated. What was that? I don't remember.
We went on a 4x4 excursion and crossing a river. I was told, oh, "Come on, man, come on, you can do it." And I wasn't too comfortable crossing the river in that vehicle.
Okay, okay.
And halfway across, it started
Yes,
to float.
it started to float.
And
Oh
my
yes, I
passenger bailed.
remember. I remember those excursions. Yeah, that's
My,
what
my,
I
my
look forward
passenger
to it.
bailed on me.
And the passenger jumped out the window.
Yeah, man.
But tell you what, we're gonna hold off on that one and wait for a part two because we need some more of those adventures.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Yeah, the 4x4 excursion.
Mhm.
Those were fun times. But
Yeah.
Dean, thank you again.
Uh-huh.
And
No problem,
hopefully
Chris.
hopefully we can talk in the very, very, very near future.
Yeah, man.
Okay. All right.
All
Have a
right.
good one.
Take care. All right. You too. Bye bye.